This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty, only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Lord have mercy.
Talking Heads with Naughty is brought to you by Burger King, the Cancer Treatment Centers of America, Fine Threads, John's Department Store, Joker's Wild, KFC, Naughty Johnny's, NRG Nutrition, Prestige Island Games, Pender Tile, Print Masters, and Tropical Gyros.
I know they tried to use me and abuse me. I leave them with the brown. The work goes by so long on them plantation, and me never get paid. Of all they stole away, how many life them slay. Now them work just slap them in them face. Why are yes? You are your crew can go too well.
You've got it locked and loaded to the Friday, January 17th edition of Talking Heads. Your boy Naughty and your company right up until 6 p.m. It is Friday. It is an open line Friday. And of course, you know, we got lots to talk about. Lots and lots to talk about. I've been listening to some shows today, been with messages on social media where the town is talking. And a lot of people saying the same thing. A lot of people disgruntled. A lot of people disenfranchised. A lot of people displaced. A lot of people hungry. A lot of people, concerned about the cost of living. A lot of people concerned about employment. There's a multiplicity of issues that we have as a nation. And people are talking about it across the board. I think the quiet time and the quiet period is over. So if you want to chime in and let me know, what's got your goat, here's how.
Here's how you can become a talking head. Brought to you by BTC.
Text lines powered by BTC. 422-GR96. That's 422-4796. Phone lines open in New Providence. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Toll free to anyone of the Family Islands, 242-300-5720. 242-300-5720. Stream us live. Take us wherever you want to go. GuardianTalkRadio.com. That's GuardianTalkRadio.com. Cable channel 969. BTC Flow channel 612. That's how you get it in. That's how you get it on for fresh news, smart talk all day. And like I said, it's a myriad of things to talk about. The unions. All right, how that's developing. We got 2 murders for the year already. One is a female. Here we go. The more things change, the more they stay the same. People still, talking about certain videos circulating, showing off, lifestyles of the rich and shameless. So, yeah, we got plenty to talk about. And, of course, it starts with today's headlines.
It's time for Headliners. Everything that's making headlines in the 242. Brought to you by the Fine Threads.
Here's what's blazing up the pages of the Nassau Guardian News and Views that matter since 1844. All brought to you, of course, by Fine Threads. And here we go. Davis fires back at TUC. PM insists government honoring MOU signed with unions. Story by Tanika Thompson. Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis said yesterday his administration has lived up to the terms of a memorandum of understanding the Progressive Liberal Party signed with the Trade Union Congress and the National Congress of Trade Unions weeks ahead of the 2021 general election. Although TUC President Obie Ferguson initially touted the benefits unions received as a result of the MOU last year, he claimed the government was not living up to the agreement and questioned what was the point of the signing of the. After months of brewing discord, several TUC affiliates staged a 2-day strike this week over unresolved issues. So if you're having a strike over unresolved issues, then obviously you're not honoring the MOU signed. But as MJ brought up on Wednesday's show, You signed that MOU with the opposition in 2021. The opposition PLP. They've leveled up. They're not a government. You don't think maybe they might be backing off a few things that they agreed to before? Now that they've leveled up and they're not a government and not the opposition? The plot thickens. Doctors need to be accountable about overtime pay, PM says. A sticking point in the negotiations with unions representing the country's doctors has been the issue of verifying outstanding overtime pay and how to remedy this problem going forward, Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis said yesterday. Well, PM Davis, since you're so secure, concerned about overtime billing, are you concerned about legal billing and how legal companies and law firms bill their clients? Have you ever wondered how that's been, taken into account? Have you ever wanted to go over that with a fine-tooth comb? Has it piqued your interest in that arena as much as it is with the doctors? PM pledges to end unfair business practices. Story by Candia Dames. Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis yesterday pledged to eliminate unfair practices that crush small businesses. He also pledged to build a more efficient, business-friendly environment that benefits all Bahamians and sees new trade opportunities to help local entrepreneurs be more efficiencies. I wonder what my good friend Toby Smith would have to say about a statement like that made by the PM. Whew. Woman murdered during shooting in Nassau Village. A woman was killed and a man was injured during a shootout on New Providence on Wednesday evening, police said. According to police, shortly before 6:30 p.m., shot spotter detected gunfire near Alexandria Avenue in Nassau Village. When officers responded, they found a 31-year-old man and a 33-year-old woman with gunshot wounds. The pair were taken to the hospital in a private vehicle. According to police, the couple were traveling west on Catherine Street in a gray car. When a black SUV traveling east stopped behind them, the two gunmen entered the SUV and shot at the car. The driver tried to get away, but crashed the car. A third gunman then shot at the victims before all of the assailants fled in an SUV that was later recovered on a dirt road off Charles Saunders Highway. We've later learned that the woman involved in this incident has passed away, and the man involved is now in hospital, in critical condition, if I'm not mistaken. But that's, what a great way to start the year. CPSA fires back at PM. Consultant Physician Staff Association, CPSA President Dr. Sherelle Lockhart said yesterday that Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis owes its members an apology after he hit out at the association for taking part in a 2-day industrial action. Lockhart said Davis agreed with the union on all points raised in a November 2024 meeting, after which he promised to revert within a week. However, she said that never happened, and there has been little movement on the matter since then. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
Hey, good day, Naughty.
Hey, what's happening?
I'm stuck on what the Prime Minister said. His comeback at the unions. But I wanna ask a question. How many things was promised to be done by this government that was probably signed off on? If you can make a list, how much things you think, and how far back can we go? From 2021 or 23 or wherever to see, because I feel like all he is doing, like Obi Ferguson saying, is doing a lot of promising, but nothing is being fulfilled.
Well, you know what they say a promise is, right?
Comfort till food. You understand me? And that's what those who tell me, I don't believe nothing. I'm so sorry, Mr. Prime Minister, but I don't believe no word come out of his mouth. Because he can afford a promise. He's been promising too long, too much for too long now, and nothing is coming to fruition. Everything we're consulting. We're consulting. Oh, let's talk some more. So how long are we going to be talking? Are we going to talk until our tongues drop off? Or are we going to talk until the next election? That's what I want to know. So see if you can come up with a list of the promises made that was not kept.
I don't know if I got enough ink and paper. All right,
you
thanks.
You find the paper.
All right, no problem. That could be quite a list. But yeah, there you have it. I think people are seeing through some of these talks with this current administration. It seems so. And everybody's got the same tone. Everybody seems disgruntled. Everyone. So, there's an old saying, 50,000 Frenchmen can't be wrong, right? So let's see where this goes. Let me check the text lines. Prime Minister Davis is the only person, Naughty, whom should care about you being disappointed. Wait, PM Davis, the only person who should care about you being disappointed is your kids. As a citizen, I'm disappointed in the PM with FTX, Bahama, BAMSI, fuel hedging, Bermuda Gate, the Pike deal, Southern District of New York Court Gate, Grand Bahama Airport and Hotel not sold. What else we got? Shane and Clayton getting undisclosed amounts in settlements, losing $1 million to the U.S. solar firm, forcing the Bahamian people to purchase a former drug plane and refurbishment payment. Also, where's that drug plane right now? We the Bahamian people bought and refurbished. Good questions, Texas. Oh, and finally, Naughty, that MOU was actually a ice swing OU. Yeah, I boy. Well, blow me down. Look who's talking about being accountable. Mr. Davis' mouth got to be bloody. He broke the Procurement Act law when giving out contracts, and we still don't know if they paid back the money from the Bermuda trip. Accountability starts at the top. Tell us about the secret settlements paid out to your cronies and consultants, Mr. Davis. Naughty, please play jokey leaders. Mr. Producer, line that up for me, man. Get my good brethren KB lined up. Because this text has been texting all day asking everybody to play that song. Naughty, doctors want overtime without checking in? That's crazy. How you know if they're not checking in or not? The private sector needs a union so we could take a mental sit-out. Hi, Naughty. What happened to the PM as to who is the MP involved in the drug indictment? Also, has road traffic given the streets over to anarchy? Anything and everything goes at these intersections. Boy, you see that at the intersections, it is anarchy reigns. No love. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Let's check the other texters. Good night, Naughty. What house did the PM promise to build the union? Oh, Lord. We don't know what was promised, but obviously if you're issuing promises ahead of time, there should be something in there that you feel like, you need to deliver on the promises that you made on the campaign trail. If you're doing it to the unions, you could do it to the citizens. If you could do it to the citizens, you could do it to the unions. And that's why everybody's disgruntled. The unions are an extension of the citizenry. The citizenry are an extension of the unions. Everybody's on the same page with that. Tired of hearing the carry-go-bring come. Excuse me. The empty promises, the grandstanding, the pontification, but zero delivery. Zero delivery. Zero. So where do we go from here? Anyway, Mr. Producer, we have any calls on the line? Let's get to it. Talking Heads.
Hey, Naughty.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Everything kind of good, but I don't like this path where the doctors believe they could just come in and go out. See, you'll be right here because nobody know what is what. You have to clock in and clock out. Now, I agree with the Prime Minister with that. And now, with the overtime, there we go again. Everybody could say, I wake, and, you ain't wake because you ain't got no accountability.
Yeah, but see now, there's where I have a problem with the irony, caller. There are a multitude of other government agencies and institutions that have the same issue going on, correct?
No, issue what? Signing in?
With pay and overtime and so on and so forth, correct?
No, here's my point.
Like you say, some people signing in and then don't be to the job and so on. And we seeing that across the board.
But signing, they just want to walk and do what they want to do. I don't think that's Mike Monkey Cable. That don't make no sense.
Yeah, but what I find ironic about this though is The PM's not looking at, like, say, the legal world and law firms and how they bill and potentially overbill their clients.
Yeah, well,
I don't hear him saying that. If you can do it for all, do it. Hey, do it across the board. Meaning, if you're dealing with this issue, hold on a second.
People work for the government. The PM, whatever, he works for himself.
No, hear what I'm saying, though. Hear what I'm saying. Regardless, if you work for the government or you work for yourself, there should be some regulations on the pricing, period. And how and what we pay out, so on and so forth, whether it's in the public or the private sector. We need to break down.
I hear you, but here's my point. If you work for yourself, then you come to me and you say, okay, and I got to pay you if you give me the bill. But now, if you work for the government got their policy. You have to abide by that.
That's fine.
Now, you can't just come in and walk in and then walk out and then come another week and say, oh,
I get that.
The government owe me.
I get that. You know, you should be accountable, and what you put in on your timesheet should actually be honest.
But then you should sign in, because I know all the job. I've been on a job. You got to sign in and sign out. I don't care what rank you were in.
But my
sign in and sign
my
out.
point is, take
but
it
the
to
doctors don't want to sign in. They don't want to do. They just want to come and go as they wish.
Koala, you missing my point. I get you. I with you on that. If you need, if I got to pay you overtime,
let me hear your point.
I want to see where you signed in. You know what I mean? If you say you got 8 hours of overtime on a Monday, I want to see where that 8 hours of overtime was.
Okay. Now,
or if you signed it, at least I know that you were there from 8 to 8 a.m. 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. Okay, I know you did 24 hours. You did overtime, so on and so forth.
Right.
Well, the same way that there are parameters in place when you deal with the government, right? I feel that some parameters should be put in place in the private sector so you can have competitive pricing. Because you look in some sectors, like you say, if you're a private contractor and you give me the bill, that's your bill, I need to pay it. What if I got an issue with your service, or I got an issue how you did overtime if it wasn't there? I have no leg to stand on.
Yeah, but you don't get my picture. The doctors them don't want no law. They want.
I got your picture. They want rolling out. They want the High Plains Drifter. Say they was there. Say they were. That's fine. I get that. Agree that they need to sign in, and there should be some accountability for the overtime. Just like I feel it should be in the private sector as well.
Well, Naughty, if you hear them talk, they don't want that. If you hear what the doctors say, they don't want that. They want just.
But I also feel that I get that, but I also feel there are other things that the doctors are spot on what they're asking for. So I think it needs to go back to the table, and more negotiation needs to come. Because obviously, the government's going to put out something that's beneficial to them. Meaning, okay, hey, here's the deal. Here's the holdup. It's the doctor's fault. It's not our fault. The doctors don't want to sign in, but the doctors want overtime. What about the other portions of that agreement that the government's not living up to, why the doctors may not have it at the table? You see what I'm saying?
Only that one I heard about. I know about the other one.
I'm sure there's others.
No, but see, we got to do a good tour check. All right, you go to PMH right now. In no strike or no strike. You go there morning, you leave there probably next morning.
Knock on wood, I don't have to go. Anyway, let me get to these other calls. Have a great weekend.
Say, but I can hold it.
What you got?
No, I mean that particular one, they gotta, you gotta have law and order. You can't.
Transparency and accountability across the board.
I can call you back.
All right, no problem. Let's get to the next one. Talking Heads.
Yes, Naughty, how you doing, Seattle?
Hey, what's going on, Seattle?
Yeah, just let me just say that you both are wrong, and with you in the column. First of all, the Prime Minister agreed that. First of all, let's say this. The Prime Minister is doing what the voice messages do every 3 times a week, trying to gaslight us, conflate and convolute, deny and deflect.
But see, Alan, before you go on, you really, after all these years, you have to know it's sarcasm, my brother.
Okay.
I have you down as one of the most intellectual, astute individuals I know. But I catch you with that sarcasm a lot.
Right, but some PLPs might believe you might be serious about saying you agree.
It doesn't matter. That's what makes it even funnier.
But here's what happens, right? The Prime Minister agreed with the doctors. And first of all, there's 2 sets of doctors, right? And I want people to understand, in the professional world, it doesn't work the way the behemoths believe that. Yeah, I guess because we've been on the plantation so long that we don't understand. My accountant may bill me for an hour based on what someone else do, like I do computer repair. Let me give you a story. A guy once came to me, and somebody had his computer for almost a week. He couldn't get it fixed. I told him put $150 on the table. And I said to him, he asked me what $150 for. I said, it's for an hour of my time. He put the computer on the table. I took out the memory. I spit on it, put it back in, and gave him time he could leave. He said, no. That's what that's for. I says, that's about an hour. It would take and put your things in. And for 38 years at the time, this is what my expertise told me. I know exactly what's wrong with the computer. He said, no, you got to turn that computer on. I said, you turn it on if you want to check. I already got my $150. He turned on the computer boot up. He said, man, you can't just charge me $150 just to do that. I said, no. What you're doing is I ain't paid you for the spitting. If I told you just to spit in the computer, you'd be spitting for weeks inside your computer.
You got to know where to spit.
Exactly where to spit. So what happens is this is professionalism. The easiest way for a prime minister to make a determination how much doctors he needs to work is look at our staffing. Just look at the work that goes on to the doctor. We have the data records for years from the gunshots and the stabbings and all these other different things. And then look and say, okay, we have 500 doctors and they're doing the work of 600 people. That's more than double time. Okay, so, I mean, doctors, them, what are they
That's
doing?
why I said it needs to come back to the table for some more, finite negotiation.
The Prime Minister's well familiar with it. He's an attorney. They don't bill you for the actual physical hours of something. They bill you of the average billing of, say, this other person. As Mr. Davis accelerates his
But you part of my little sarcastic statements, Alan, I mean, you remember a wonderful movie called The Firm, correct?
Yes.
Okay, then.
Okay, but look at when you go to the diagnosis, right? You could go right now to the dealership, and they'll tell you an oil change is 1 hour, and they'll let you take the car in 15 minutes.
Yeah, but they'll charge you for that hour.
Right. So it is what it is, and I think when the prime ministers conflate the two different doctors the two different unions combine issues from multiple unions, it was deliberate intent of gaslighting us. Because it is 14 unions, and this is people have to understand. A strike did not occur. And so the prime minister, a lawyer, understands the legal terms. He also understands that these people have a strike certificate. He also understood that they were entitled under contract law. This is a KC. So he understands what their rights and privileges are. And so any statement is definitely just to gaslight us. But let's talk about some promises that he made yesterday, right? First of all, let me just say, for people who don't understand, right? We have an open market economy, in spite of what anyone thinks about. And he's saying that he's going to fix the market. That form, North Korea is a good example of an attempt at what he's trying to do. Okay, anybody who attempts to rig the market outcomes and stifle competition, the lifeblood of innovation, cannot love the market. The barriers for which he say exist does not exist except in the mind of a 20th century thinker. Didn't Amazon says you can order directly from the United States?
Correct.
And they'll ship it directly to you?
Correct.
I mean, what you want to do, go directly to the manufacturer, they can ship it direct to you. And this is where also concerns me coming from the Minister of Finance. If the government has a volume of business, right? Let's say the government has $10 billion. It expects to collect $2.5 billion in taxes. And so what the government say, we will help you make arrangements so you don't have to pay $10 billion for your stuff. We're going to help you arrange it so you could only have to pay $7 billion for it. So we'll only collect 25% of that. So that means government revenue goes down 25%. Do double taxes, triple taxes. See, there's a balancing act. It's the statements and things that you do. And so we have almost a direct to the Bahamas. In fact, the great showdown yesterday at the Business Outlook was between the two people we dating was competing for us in our attention yesterday concerning the Delta Road and then the United States with foreign direct investments and whatever else. We just have to understand our position as the one who can make the decision. The Prime Minister talked about banking, fintech. You don't have to go and fight the banks. Again, This is not where you try to rig the market or stifle competition. This is where a person that understands the growth of the economy, that understands the efficiencies that he says lacking, the very thing that he says lacking is him as leader of the country. If we can't get a business license in a couple of hours, who is in charge of giving
And there are lots of people disgruntled on that. Good point, Seattle. But as you can hear, my producer got us going to the break. I appreciate the call. Great points as always. And we got to line something up for next week, man. We got to get you a day and let's shoot the breeze. Are you available next week? Seattle and Nagani. But I know you heard me, Seattle. Hit me back and let me know. Let's get these other two in real quick before we get out of here. Talking Heads. Talking Heads. Call me back after the break. Talking Heads.
Nutty.
Yes.
Man, what I gotta say to be quick. Everybody, ain't nobody being real with the public. And the Prime Minister throwing something out there in the court of public opinion that's not quite totally correct. Okay, the doctors are not paid hourly and got a check in like regular people. Those doctors are privileges. They're like the captains on planes. They don't go through the same rigor stuff with the passengers and the stewardess and them go through. Those doctors work on a basis. If they put in 10 hours, they contracted to work 10 hours a day. That is what they work. And they don't really get overtime per se. At the end of the month, they get a bonus. Okay? Now, what the doctors are fighting for is because holidays, if they are not rushed to work and they go in a holiday, they're not being paid for that. But all that talk about signing every day and all that, that's not so. They get a bonus at the end of the month, and if they rush it to work 10 hours, they get paid for that, and if they go over, there's no overtime.
Because you got to understand, whether you signed it or not, you on your shift, you've been there for 8 hours, and now you have a trauma situation come in, you going to work through that. And if that takes you another 4 or 5 hours, there's your overtime.
Well, that is it. That's the reason why at the end of the month, they contracted, they get a bonus.
GNN, I've always bragged that we got the biggest and best listeners, in the business. That's why I leave it up to you all to break it down sometimes while I have a laugh.
What the Prime Minister throwing out there is not quite correct.
You mean he misspoke again?
It is not correct.
Ah, Lord.
And any doctor, the doctors ain't going to speak. They ain't going to speak like that to throw rock back. But that is the thing. I be to the hospital 3 times a week, and I have very good relationship with doctors. They and they're not regular staff. Those people are private contractors. They're signing and clocking and stuff like that.
Good points there, Jen, and I got to get this other call, but have a great weekend, man. Appreciate it. Talking Heads.
Yeah, blessed Lordy.
Hey, what's going on, 52?
Yeah, I can make this one quick. C. Allen made me afraid. He highlighted so much imbecility within this particular realm, right? But
boy,
intuitively, where my knowledge stopped, let us use common sense. Even before Dr. Stans came on to my show this morning, Lordy, I said the same thing. I said the doctors wouldn't. That's counterintuitive. And so I said publicly that the doctors work more hours than they're supposed to because there's vagaries in any trade work. And obviously, if you're dealing with humans, there are vagaries in surgery. They encounter problems that they didn't anticipate, or even if they didn't anticipate it, they encounter problems that would take them longer than to do what they're supposed to do. It's just obvious. I didn't need people to tell me that. That's why I tell you when all this stuff use common sense. But what I want to highlight is, see, Alan, I highlighted a lot of imbecilities, but here's where I catch the PM in something. Here's it. He's telling the people that he's into cracking down on gangs, right? But they just like the Biden administration allowing migrants to come into this country unabatedly, and it's the social system they run and feeding the people repatriation. It's the people, the taxpayers' money going on this. But he telling me that they into get this impeding gangs, but you allow people to come in the country. You got more gangs in Haiti. These people coming here unabatedly. They up and down through the ghetto with all kinds of suitcases and all kinds. What's going on in this country? You telling me you trying to impede gangs, but people coming in the country and you don't know who they are. But you, national security, whoever, they trying to crack down on gangs. Come on, man, Lordy, give me a break, please. Please, man, please help me out.
You all over it today, 52. I can't lie. You all hitting the nail on the head. Let's get to the break, man. Quick break, flip side of the break, Texas. I'll get to your text. Callers on hold. I'll pick you guys up. It's an open line Friday, the January 17th edition of Talking Heads, which continues right after this.
The KFC chicken experts have done it again with the new Kentucky Mesquite Chicken Sandwich, featuring a large 100% premium 120-gram white meat filet topped with cheddar cheese, smoky bacon, lettuce, tomato, and tangy red onions, all drizzled with ranch sauce and served on a toasted brioche bun. Choose original recipe or spicy, but don't wait. This mouth-watering masterpiece is only here for a limited time and only at your favorite KFC. The new Kentucky Mesquite Chicken Sandwich at KFC. It's finger-licking good.
Refined style with elegant taste, then Fine Threads is your place. If you want those slacks hemmed or just taking the waist, then Fine Threads is your place. If you wanna look suave and debonair everywhere you go, like you're supposed to be in a video, one Fine Threads is your place. Refined style with elegant taste, then Fine Threads is your place. Is your place. Is your place.
Here's a price list of some of the roofing material we carry at Pinda Enterprises. 5/8 pressure-treated roofing ply starting at $36.68. Grace Select Water Shield, $134.20 a roll. Felt, 15 pounds, $16.50. 30 pound, $19.80. Owens, Corning Duration Shingles, and CertainTeed Landmark Shingles, $56.56 a bundle. Gallon of roof cement, $33.47. All sizes treated dimensional lumber. And of course, we have all nails and all screws. We have 5/8 sheetrock, $28.76. Half-inch sheetrock, $22.18. All prices include VAT.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
It's time for The Buzz. What are you buzzing on? Brought to you by John's Shoes.
Lord have mercy. Oh, well. People na fire, banner we got Babylon and the free talk could have never get me down. And though they try to use me and abuse me, I leave them with the frown. Me bona fire banner we got Babylon and the free talk could have never get me down.
Well, we're back at you on the Friday, January 17th edition of Talking Heads. Let's check the phone lines. This is a open line Friday, so you know how to chime in. Text lines are open, 422-GR96. That's 422-4796. Phone lines are open, 323-6232, 54259. Toll free, and anyone in the family on is 242-300-5720, 242-300-5720. Naughty, who is helping the homeless, elderly, and disabled in this country? Just passed an elderly man in a wheelchair who seems to be living under a porch of an unused building. I think you and I have seen that same individual as well, too. And that's an ongoing story, but the social services does need to intervene in that situation. Naughty, great show as usual. The private sector, great show as usual, Naughty. Why only 2 PRP MPs will keep their seats next election? You tell me. Naughty, a sergeant was wrongfully arrested because he supported a local activist when she was arrested. He sued, and the court awarded him cost and damages. The Supreme Court ruled in his favor. The appeal court unanimously ruled in his favor. The government is appealing to the Privy Council for a couple of dollars for an officer who served loyally for 35 years. He worked 12-hour shifts for years without overtime pay. This government is hoggish, among other things. And if that is the case, that is horrible. You know, this administration and opposition push for certain officers to have their day in court and get restitution. So why not now? Why is this a problem? Interesting. Am I the only one concerned with admission that junior doctors work up to 48-hour shifts? That's what I'm saying. Sometimes these doctors work 24, 48-hour shifts. I mean, that is crazy overtime. Supposed to be there 10 to 12 hours, then anything over should be overtime, correct? And if it's only, verbiage and dialogue that's holding things up, then get it right in the document so everything could proceed as normal. The doctors could get what they need, the citizenry could get what they need, and the government could get what they need. Naughty, what is Sarkis up to? I read in the papers he wants to run the Chinese business in Nassau. Well, if you owe me $1.6 billion and you giving me the dollar wine like you can't pay me, then I need to take all the steps in my power to get my $1.6 billion. So you could give me the point, you could give me the other property, and boom, we'll make it work. But yes, I'm going to manage it because obviously you've been proven to be disloyal in business negotiations. That's why we end up here. So if I'm going to get my $1.6 billion, I'm going to run whatever I get as part of my $1.6 billion if it comes in properties. So I don't think Salk is doing anything but trying to get his money. It's his money and he needs it now. All right, let's get some text callers. I see I get to you in a second. Naughty, nowhere in the world does a physician clock in. That is a bunch of foolishness. Only wants that to happen here in the Bahamas if the Prime Minister and Miss Rowe wish for doctors to swipe in. I want to know the detailed itinerary of every trip that the Prime Minister takes on my tax dime. The day doctors sign in is the day the Treasury goes broke because of health care as opposed to the Prime Minister traveling. If they swipe in, the government needs to pay. If the government pay, I will acknowledge my aunt, who really is my uncle. Wow, I didn't know you were going through all of that, Texter. I hope all works out for you. Hey, Naughty, the undertakers are refusing to pick up dead bodies for the paid. The government is this hard-pressed to meet its financial requirements? Wow. So they're just going to leave the bodies on the road? Boy, you know you hit rock bottom when that's the case. The PM needs permanent doctors to work in the hospital, no privately contracted people to work. Boy, I tell you. Naughty, the PM is mixed up when it comes to accountability. I wonder if he bit his tongue. The things he's doing, we don't hear nothing. This isn't black and white. There are doctors who abuse the system and clock in hours at private institutions while they're supposed to be at PMH. Someone must be able to create a sensible system to determine how big that problem is and curtail it. Let's go to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
Is that me?
That's you, Brayman. What's going on?
Golly, the days of the stock, you know, what's the day? You know why it's Sunday. You know why it's... But, Donnie.
Yes, hello? Brayman. Yes, Brayman.
This thing is, I went to a couple of meetings, right, where I've heard Perry Christie, the former Prime Minister of the Bahamas, told some people they're one. I went to a other meeting. The now Prime Minister went to a meeting, and he told some other people that they're one. So I'm wondering what's going on in our little Bahamas. You see what I'm saying? Lord has a lot of mercy, and we got to ask him for plenty, because the people in this country, what's supposed to be an authority governing us, they are jiving big time. Thank you for your time.
You calling them jive turkeys, man? You going old school, Brayman, and calling them jive turkeys?
Well, you know, Naughty. You know. I know it's obvious that you can see what's happening in our Bahamas, and you can hear what's happening in our little Bahamas, right?
Yep. And the streets are talking, and they ain't quiet nowadays, and they all saying a lot of the same thing. Have a good weekend, Brayman, and don't bust no corn. Naughty, great show as usual. Flying Phil doesn't care about taking care of doctors at home because he's always on a flight, so he can always utilize hospitals in foreign lands. Remember when the good PM caught COVID-19? He was on the first flight smoking to foreign. These people and this administration are heartless. Listen, my PLP friends, and PLP in general, are you really hearing the message that is resonating from the voting populace and from the populace? Do you hear what words that they're using for you guys? Heartless. Without heart or compassion. Y'all really know how y'all carrying on? Or are all of y'all tucked away in your ivory tower looking at your spoils and your couture And you're too busy doing that to wonder what's really going on with the people and how hard the people who believed in you and voted for you are suffering based on the back of all of your empty promises and failure to deliver. Wow. Cooking heads.
Naughty.
Yes.
I'm not really reading 1 minute what I said a while ago. I know you was kind of a break. First of all, the doctors work on a contract that they are rostered to work. So if they rostered for 10 hours, they work them 10 hours. If they go overtime, they don't get paid for that. At the end of the month, they get paid a bonus. That basically covers that. The only thing the doctors are fighting for is being misconstrued, is that they want their holiday pays. The pays that the days that they are not rostered to work, if they call them in, they're not being paid for that on a timely manner. And the last thing I want to say, Naughty, let me tell you something here. I hear people calling and talking foolishness about doctors full time. But look here, if them doctors were signing in like them nice, this country would be broke in a month.
Let them know. Let them know.
In 1 month. We can't pay them. I want the Bahamian people to know that. So stop asking for certain silly things, half-baked things, which you ain't thinking about. We can't pay them doctors. That's why we got them privately. Because if we put them on full-time contract, then we got to pay. We got to give them medical, which they responsible for their own self because they private. Then we got to give them bonus, Christmas bonus, and this and that, and all them other things. We ain't got to pay them. Thanks for taking my call.
All right, my brother. Naughty, that texter is wrong. The PM has a big heart. It's just located in his foot. Or in some other orifice on his body, eh? Maybe not a foot. Not that a foot is an orifice. But yeah, there you have it. I mean, you can tell the tone when the baby is disgruntled. It goes from the key, laughing it off, to the get off. Using words like heartless, or heart located in your foot. Alien to transparency and accountability. You know? Tone deaf to you heard the words that people use in the descriptions? The voting populace is disgruntled. The voting populace who sat out the last couple of laps, they're disgruntled. They're getting up off the couch. And I hear in some instances, past voters who have been disgruntled or disenfranchised are now getting off the couch and the checkbook in hand. So this is shaping up to be very, very, very interesting. But I just feel that somebody needs to remind things going on and dealing with a lot of infighting and so on and so forth, that the voting populace and the citizenry are not on your run. They're not happy with you. And that's an understatement by just saying unhappy. Okay? Let's go to the phone lines. Talking heads.
Hey, peace and love, Naughty. Hope everything's all right with you, man.
And same with you, brother. What's good?
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Hey, whenever I hear us talking, whenever I hear talks about these doctors and with doctors, I think about Cuba and how, in spite of all those embargoes and different stuff, Cuba was still able to develop the medical program, right? But they were able to export doctors, right?
Correct.
And there was a couple of years ago, when Dr. Alfred Sayers was on talk show with Dr. Ian Strachan. And I had asked Alfred Sayers, I told him, I was like, man, why doesn't the government or why didn't the government take advantage of, because this is when Cuba was educating, international students for free and all type of different things, I was like, well, why don't y'all take advantage of that and like get one of these buildings over here where y'all could get some of those individuals from Cuba to come over here and teach some of our locals to be teachers, to be doctors, to teach so we could produce, so we could go into the ghetto, where they have a lot of brilliant children who parents can't afford to send into medical school, right? And the government could train them, just like they do in Cuba, and we could train our own workforce. And we could train them with the understanding of a patriotic mind, whereas, y'all ain't never going into private practice. If y'all don't go into private practice, y'all got to kill like other people in Cuba kill, and y'all got to leave. You understand where I'm coming from? And I asked Sayers, why couldn't our government have done something like that, Naughty? You understand where I'm coming from? Whereas, like I said before, we could have educated individuals in the ghetto who are parents who can't financially afford to send them to medical school, but they are smarter, just as smart or even smarter than individuals who come out of the private schools. And you could have trained them. And like I said before, we could have all kind of doctors like how Cuba, all kind of doctors.
Yeah, but Qualla, let me ask you this: isn't it all about elevation at some point, and about upward mobility in your profession instead of lateral mobility?
You mean the person who's been educated to be a doctor? You mean?
Yeah. For example, let me break it down for you. What I mean: you educate me. I come back and I pay my debt for you educating me by working in the public service sector for the government for X amount of years. But don't you think it's my right, if I've had specialized training, if I'm qualified, to elevate at some point when my contract is up and maybe I want to go into the private sector, or maybe I want to continue in the public sector but with a raise because of my experience in time and so on. At some point, everybody wants to elevate, bro. So you can't get mad. You can't get mad for doctors wanting to go into the private practice if they could make more money.
I mean, I understand the point you're making, right, Naughty? But for me, I believe in, like, you know, in order to build a nation, you need some real patriots, right? For one, right? You need to be people who put forth sacrifice. Not really sacrifice, but I personally believe, Naughty, that healthcare is supposed to be free. You know what I mean? I don't feel as if healthcare is supposed to be something that anyone's supposed to benefit from.
I understand your point on that too.
And I have a problem with those individuals in Cuba who are educated and then flee because like I said before, for me, you should be able to satisfy with a certain standard of living. And if I am working as a doctor, I should love to heal people. I shouldn't love the money. My love for medicine should be about healing. I should never see it as a profit. You understand where I come from? So I would disagree, Naughty, and like I said before, because the individuals will have to be educated on the understanding that, listen, this is about patriotism. We're trying to build a nation, and you are here to do a service, and you're going to be paid.
But what if I tell you, all right, I signed a 10-year contract post-graduation. I've served loyally for 10 years now. I was a patriot for 10 years. Now let me be patriotic in a different light and see where I can help.
If you want to do that, Naughty, like I said before, if I was leaving, if you want to do that, then you got to do what God is doing in Cuba. You got to leave.
No, so I got to leave my country and I qualified. Now you're creating the brain drain.
Like I said, Naughty, I am the one who educated you on the understanding that, listen, you...
All right, so now, Naomi, because you educated me now, I must take and eat garbage for the rest of my life. Would you serve me and underpay me? At some point, I got to say I'm qualified and I need to be able to make my own money in my own country and set up my own private practice.
No. See, Naughty, like I said just now, I disagree with that, Naughty. Like I said before.
See, I agree with your point that if I educate you, you need to pay a debt back to society. Pay back what we educated you up until a point. But I can't at some point not expect you to seek upward mobility, career mobility, or go into a private practice if you're a doctor, if you can make more money that way. The problem I disagree with you on is where you say, after paying that debt, if they want to go private, they got to be like Cuba and carry their behind somewhere else. That creates a brain drain. That creates a gap in the medical fraternity.
Check this out, Naughty. But I'll put it like this: if I had anything to do with that type of governance, right? Once I educate you, and you choose to go into the private practice, right?
But let me ask you this.
But check this out. You could afford to go into the private practice, right? Because any service that you would offer in the private practice, I would have in the public service for free.
All right, let me ask you this question right here. You went to public school?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't go to public school? You know people who went to public school?
If I know them?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Come here.
All right, so everybody who went to public school should be working for government right now, taking minimum wage from government, shouldn't ask to elevate, shouldn't ask to do that because they went to public school. They owe the government.
No. See,
know what you mean?
No, hold on. See, every government, United Nations, right to be educated. So education.
But hold on, remember now, it don't go so because that's the taxpayers' money, not the government's money. That's the taxpayers' money.
I didn't hear you.
That's the taxpayers' money we dealing with, not the government's money. That's the taxpayers.
But what I'm trying to say, Naughty, that it is the responsibility of every government to educate its populace.
Correct, but it's not their responsibility to at some point after they educate them, hold them over a barrel and trying to thumb them under and don't give them an opportunity to grow or elevate.
Yeah, if that education, Naughty, exceeds.
But it's taxpayer money, brother. It's not government's money. It's taxpayer money.
And that's why if it's taxpayers' money, you should serve the taxpayers.
But they are serving the taxpayers.
But like I said, Naughty, if it was me, right, if it was me and my type of government, you could afford to go into your private practice because any kind of service you offer in your private practice.
Your government sounding a little dictatorish. If you pulling the page out of Cuba, you sound a little dictatorish, telling me if I want to go into private practice, I need to push out.
No,
Boy, call me Monday, man. We need to pick this up. We need to pick this up because I got to get to the break. Real talk.
Like say more socialist, Naughty.
Oh, more socialist thing. All right.
Yeah. Don't try to make me sound like some kind of villain, man.
I'm not trying to make you sound a villain, but the example you used was Cuba. I mean, and Cuba's communist. That's all I'm saying.
And I see nothing wrong with Cuba. You have a good weekend, brother.
All right, man. All right, got a couple. Mira, let me tell you, Cuba Willie got plenty of products with Cuba, my brother. I tell you some story about Cuba. Don't play with me. No taxpayer would say be a slave forever. Be real. Let's be honest. Last call right here before the break. Last call. Make it quick. Here we go. Talking heads. All right, that's you. Let me get these last couple of texts in, and we get to Cuban Willie. If you educating doctors like in Cuba as fast as one leaves for private, we have two to replace them to go get the training to go into practice. There will be so much doctors competing in private practice. Naughty, this caller is a communist socialist. Tell him to move to Cuba. Oh, God. Boy, that caller is something else. His mindset is why no one wants to invest in curing malaria. He will say that the company that made the cure don't deserve to get paid because they should be more interested in helping people. A love for what you do doesn't pay the bills. If he feels that way, tell the MPs to work for free since they want to represent us in Parliament so bad. Sucking my teeth. Naughty, the PM is renting his cronies buildings instead of building our own properties. Wow. Good stuff, everybody who chimed in and texted in this first hour. Naughty, socialism is communism, ugly little brother. All right, let's get to the break. Good stuff, everybody who chimed in. Flip side of the break, Pearlie will be in the building. We'll be talking sports. Keep it right where you got it. The Friday, January 17th edition of Talking Heads continues right after this.
All I do is win, no matter what.
Feeling lucky? Here's Cuban Willie's numerology report. Brought to you by the Island Game.
Wepa, soy Joe Cuban Willie, and it's Friday, baby. It's the weekend, that's what I'm talking about. And it's time for the 3-ball and the 4-ball special in my numerology report brought to you, of course, by the Island Game. And your 3-ball for the weekend.
792 is the 3-ball. 792, 792. And the 4-ball, 2288. 2288.
That's your 3-ball and your 4-ball for the weekend. Play them and win with the Island Game. Stay winning, my friend.
Everything is bigger and better at Burger King Nassau. When you have a big appetite, BK has a royal deal for you. Get a flame grilled double Big King Jr. or an original chicken sandwich plus 4 chicken nuggets, small fries, a drink, and a fresh baked cookie for only $9.95, including VAT. The royal deal was built for a big appetite, and at $9.95, including VAT, it's a steal of a deal. Go big and enjoy the BK flavors you love with the $9.95 royal deal at Burger King Nassau.
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. You will find what you're looking for among the growing collection of classic and trendy styles with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family and has great prices, helpful and friendly customer service. Your experience shopping with us will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances, so come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put fashion at your feet.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Learn more at cancercenter.com.
Crunch your hunger by the whole family with KFC bucket meals starting at just $20. Get freshly prepared golden fried chicken, buttery biscuits, and add your favorite large sides for flavor that will make your mouth happy and your feet dance. Order online or WhatsApp hi to 557-3663 to grab your KFC bucket today. Big flavor, bigger value, and always KFC. Finger licking good.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Talking Heads with Naughty is brought to you by Burger King, the Cancer Treatment Centers of America, Fine Threads, John's Department Store, Joker's Wild, KFC, Naughty Johnny's, NRG Nutrition, Prestige Island Games, Hinder Tile, Prince Masters, and Tropical Gyros.
January 17th edition of Talking Heads. Naughty and your company right up until, well, I turn it over to Earl the Pearl, who's now in the building.
WWE style. Tag him out.
Good to see you, Pearly. And of course,
good to be in the house.
One thing I always appreciate about Pearl, always able to be, you know, and I hate to use this reference, Earl Morrill to my Bob Greasy.
Oh, yeah.
Only because it's you.
That
I use a
undefeated
Dolphin
season.
reference.
That
Because
undefeated
I got to use Clinton Longley to Roger Staubach, but.
Oh, you could always say I'm Riviera. That's his name? That was your closer was?
Oh, you mean, come on now.
I could be your closer.
I will never.
Gidry to me? Gidry to
No,
no?
I will never desecrate the Sandman by putting it on a Dodger. I love you, use my brother,
Okay,
but
okay.
I can't do that.
Okay.
I can't.
Okay.
I can't.
No problem. I can live with that.
I could call you like Rick Monday in the clutch.
Oh, yeah.
In Montreal.
yeah.
All right, here's the deal. As you know, this time of year, you know, January, February, I get a lot of corporate opportunities.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. But sometimes they start a little early. Sometimes they're after dinner. Sometimes they're before dinner. This is the case. I got an early show tonight before Jokers. I got to deal with a corporate situation. So I appreciate Pearly sliding in, dealing with this 5 o'clock hour. I will chime back in toward the end before the wrap with the picks. All brought to you, of course, by the Island Game. But as you can see, I got a sidekick with me following me everywhere I go today.
Oh, this young man. Him and I just had the worst argument.
He's a Yankee and you're a Dodger.
Yeah.
I'm not getting in that. I was kind of
He's
proud.
so afraid right now. He's so afraid right now.
I know, but don't get him off course. I think he's afraid of the off game this week. The Kansas City Chiefs coming off a bye. Your team, the Chiefs. All right, and of course we're referring to my youngest, and Donnie doing his thing. You know him from Bahamas at Sunrise with me and his brother always doing our Super Bowl picks. This Kansas City time of year, I got a rough household going on. My Cowboys are gone.
Yeah.
The only two teams left in the house are my sons, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. I think
one
next
will have
week,
bragging rights.
I think next week the ish gonna hit the fan and one gonna have bragging rights and one gonna be upset. But I'll talk about that later.
Yep.
And Donnie, you got your Kansas City Chiefs coming up. I know Dr. Smith is probably listening and going, I've pulled one over to the Kansas City side of the force. The force is strong with him. Well, how you see your game on Saturday, and Donnie? You got the Houston Texans on the road in Kansas City against your Chiefs. Your Chiefs coming off a bye. Texans coming off a very impressive victory over the Los Angeles Chargers. I didn't see them winning that game. They were injured.
Yeah.
Their defense was suspect, and they came out and played a heck of a game. The last time the Chiefs and the Texans met up, the Chiefs won 29-17. I have the Chiefs winning this game this weekend, and I'll talk more about it later. But let me know how you feel about your Kansas City Chiefs going in.
Me personally, I feel that, the Chiefs are going to win because, that's my team. I got to pull for them. And I think that offensively we're going to be too much. We're going to be able to score on not every possession, but we're going to be scoring a lot. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game because, the Texans, they're going to come
Well,
out
I
for
agree
revenge.
with you there. I think some points will go up on the board. My question is, can the Texans offense run with that Kansas City offense? Meaning, Kansas City's going to get some points. Can the Texans consistently get points against the Chiefs' defense is my question.
No, that's where I think the Chiefs are going to be quarter or a couple of possessions or something where the Texans get, stuffed or shot out and they can't really get nothing on the board. And the Chiefs are going to turn like a 7-point lead, a stop, a 10-point lead. 13-point lead, and they're gonna run from that. Because I don't think the Texans are gonna be able to really hang.
So you think the Chiefs are going to win in a blowout?
I wouldn't say a blowout. I would just say when the lead is there, the Chiefs ain't gonna let it up. If I was the Texans, I would try my hardest to keep that game close until maybe push it to overtime. Because if the Chiefs get a 3-point lead, I think they'll blow it out. That's what I think.
You think at some point the Chiefs are going to get a lead and run away with it?
Yeah, they're gonna get a play or.
No, well, Pearly, I kind of hear the method to his madness. The last time they played, it was 29-17.
Yep.
All right.
But if you look at both teams,
27-19.
they're pretty even statistically, you know, in terms of points scored, points given up. You know, they're not that far apart. If you really look at it, both teams, Houston actually averaged 21 points a game. Kansas City ain't been averaging 19 points a game. The passing yards given up, the Chiefs give up more passing yards. The Chiefs give up more rushing yards than the Texans. The Texans get more has more total yards. They get less passing yards. They get more rushing yards. So it's a pretty even team when it comes down statistically.
One is 10-7. One is 15-2.
Yeah, but that's the difference in terms of the final score, the standings. But you also look at a lot. The Chiefs have been pulling it off by the hair, they chinny chin chin so often. When will that run out? Could this be the weekend? I don't know.
Now listen.
Against the Bills.
I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. There's mitigating factors here.
Yeah.
And D'Amico Ryans has done a great job with the Houston Texans this year and got them playing.
Yeah.
But you're looking at the Jedi Master.
No, I understand
You're looking
that.
at
Patrick Mahomes.
No,
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
But I honestly,
together
I
is
think
an
Kansas City.
unstoppable duo.
I think Kansas City they lose, but I think they're going to win.
I'll put it to you like this. I think the Chiefs win the game, but I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think.
Well, you know, there's 12 people in the Chiefs team, you know.
Yeah, I'll break it down to you, when I call in later. But obviously, I wanted to get his take because he won't be around later. He'll be off at his function.
Okay.
But I wanted to give you opportunity to talk about your Chiefs. You always tell me, you let my older brother talk about Baltimore all the time. Stat Boy's always talking about Baltimore. All right, well, you got your opportunity now.
Yeah.
So give me a score for the game, Andoni.
I have it to be 28 to 20. I think 28 to 20.
28-20.
All right.
Yeah, I think
that's a possibility. It's a good chance.
There's a good chance, but
never could count Pat Holt.
I still want you to be here next week, though. And if your Chiefs go down, you got to come back and do the picks, win, lose, or draw.
I will. And I'll take what anyone have to say. The Chiefs lost. I'll have to be quiet and take that one.
But if they win?
And if they win, I'm going to be here. I'm going to talk about it. And because I know the Ravens going to beat the Bills. Stat Boy, the Chiefs could beat your Ravens. I could see it from now.
Oh, God.
I can see it from now, Stat Boy.
All right, let's go to the break. Flip side of the break, Pearly going to take you home. And I'll chime back in and do the picks. I appreciate it, man. That's my job.
One more thing, Uncle Earl. You're more of a Clay Holmes. You're not a.
Ooh.
You're more of a Clay Holmes when it comes to Yankees closers. You're not gonna.
I ain't even gonna allow you to say that. I'm not even gonna allow you to say that.
You really should be humble to me right now, considering we beat you guys in the World Series.
You right.
All right.
Because right now,
and Sasaki will be a Dodger.
Right now, you're the newest member. A Talking Head Sports. Yeah, you like a utility player. We gotta plug you in wherever. You're like a Buddy Bianca Lallana right now, so don't be pushing people, okay? Let's go to the break.
The KFC chicken experts have done it again with the new Kentucky Mesquite Chicken Sandwich, featuring a large 100% premium 120-gram white meat filet topped with cheddar cheese, smoky bacon, lettuce, tomato, and tangy red onions, all drizzled with ranch sauce and served on a toasted brioche bun. Choose original recipe or spicy, but don't wait. This mouth-watering masterpiece is only here for a limited time and only at your favorite KFC. The new Kentucky Mesquite Chicken Sandwich at KFC. It's finger-licking good.
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. You will find what you're looking for among the growing collection of classic and trendy styles with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family and has great prices, helpful and friendly customer service. Your experience shopping with us will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances, so come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put fashion at your feet.
America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Learn more at cancercenter.com.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty, hosted by Earl the Pearl. On Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Welcome back. A little, handoff as the WWE style. And Naughty and I did this. Now, it's so good to be back here with you guys here today. We decided to let Andoni get his piece in there. But we'll get right to what most of you want to hear right now, what a lot of you have been calling for today in sports history. Today is Friday, January 17, 2025. In this day in sports history, the Professional Golfers Association was formed in New York City in 1963. Will Chamberlain of the San Francisco Warriors scored 67 points against Los Angeles. In 1972, Roger Staubach and Bob Greasy appeared on the cover of Time magazine. In 1989, Al Arbor won his 600th game as a coach in the NHL. In 1995, the Los Angeles Rams announced that they would be moving to St. Louis. Now they're back in LA. In 1996, Steve Yzerman of the Detroit Red Wings became the 22nd player in NHL history to score 500 goals. And in 1999, the Atlanta Falcons beat the Minnesota Vikings to advance to the Super Bowl for the first time in team history. I think that's been they won, was leading in the half and blew a 20-some point lead. I don't know, I can't remember. In 2002, the city of Los Angeles had Muhammad Ali Day. And the sports quote of the day, adversity caused some men to break others to break records. Adversity caused some men to break others to break records. I have no idea what he means by that. William A. Ward. Yes, it's good to be here. Let's take it to the home front and see what's going on. The Nassau Cup is on the horizon. Tennis event set to start this Saturday at Bahama. And my people, the BYFFL, the Bahamas Youth Flag Football League, sends 4 teams to the USA Flag Football World Championships. Let's go Team Bahamas. And Mingos compete at the T-Bird Flyers Classic. That's the UB Mingos. So yes, this is the weekend. This weekend is a big weekend in the NFL, and we spoke at the end of the show. We'll take our picks, but I look forward to this weekend. This is a great weekend for football on both the professional level, because on Saturday we have 2 games, on Sunday we have 2 games, and then on Monday is the college football championship. So that should be pretty cool to see, to watch. You can relax, enjoy some really good football this weekend. You can't beat that with like my aunt used to say, you can't beat that with a stick, But it's interesting. I'm excited about it. And I'm sorry about that. Giving you a peep preview of what you're going to be talking about. You're going to have Colin Cowherd come in. He's going to talk a little bit about how the Dallas Cowboys got caught off guard by. He'll talk to you about how the Cowboys got caught off guard by McCarthy and some other things that are happening. So, but it's still, like I said, it's good to hear about this. It's good to talk about all of this stuff. Good to be here on a Friday. I'm excited about what's going on in Major League Baseball. The San Diego Padres have officially been dropped from the Roki Sasaki sweepstakes. And of course, Roki Sasaki is that Japanese phenom of a pitcher who's 23 years old, who could and post that he will be making like $300 million over 10 years or something like that. But he decided to post early. So he's probably going to make around $5-6 million for the next 6 years. And it's down to teams now. My Los Angeles Dodgers and the Toronto Blue Jays. So, and Donnie and I were having a little talk during the break on how he thinks that he's not going to go to the Dodgers, but I think it's more hoping than thinking. Caller, you on the air. How you doing?
Hello?
Don't listen to your radio. Listen to your phone.
Okay.
How you doing?
Yeah, no, Burley.
Hey.
Hey, Burley.
Yes.
Look here.
Turn your radio down.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah.
Okay. You with me now? Yes.
You hear me?
I can hear you. You still want to listen to your radio? Do not listen to your radio. Keep the phone to your ear. The radio is a delay, so you're not going to hear anything.
Okay.
You got it together now? You got it together now?
Yeah.
Okay, what's up?
Burley, listen. I only call, right? Naughty listening, right?
Lottie should be listening in his car.
Okay. Because what happened is, right, I want to correct Naughty on something.
I'm listening.
Burley, I never said that I am a LeBron fan. I am a Los Angeles Lakers fan. Tell Naughty, stop doing that. I'm not a LeBron fan.
He said that because you big up LeBron so much, we got to be I even think that's some.
No, but see, you can't say that. Okay, if LeBron was in with LA, you think I would have been talking about him?
I don't know, but I hope not.
It's all on. He is he's a Laker.
So while he's a Laker, you can big him up.
While he's a Laker, I got to give him the crops.
Okay, but you got to be real, though.
Listen to me. If he was like Kobe, or if he was like Magic, or Kareem, or Wade, yes, I am a fan of them.
Okay.
I wasn't never a fan of LeBron.
All right, okay.
And I want Naughty to stop that. I am a Lakers. I speak on the Lakers behalf concerning LeBron.
Okay. But sometimes you sound like he's a LeBron fan, though. That's all.
No.
Sometimes.
Burley, I want you to be real. Listen to me. Listen to me.
I listening.
If the man was in the Laker, y'all wouldn't even know I know him.
Okay. All right.
When he was with the Heat, when he was with Cleveland,
I
listen to me. I was strongly against everything he used to be doing. I don't fan of him. Now, I have a brother who was a fan of him because any place he go, my brothers go with him.
But I think Naughty might be on the line. He might have something to say to you.
Yeah, well, let Naughty know I know Laker fan. I mean, I know LeBron fan.
Naughty, you there?
Yeah.
Family, man. Me and
Hey,
the
what is
LeBron
that?
Listen, let me put it to you like this. You are a Laker fan.
Right.
With heavy bronsexual tendency.
No. Naughty. I'm telling you.
Don't let Naughty provoke you. Don't let Naughty provoke you.
The
Do not
man
let Naughty provoke
the
you.
Lakers today. You wouldn't hear me calling his name. The only way I call his name, if I hear they play against the Lakers, and either he win with he beat the Lakers or the Lakers beat them.
Okay.
I don't listen to me. That ain't no fun.
So I can hold you to that now. When we get rid of him, when he leaves the Lakers, I don't want you talking about him no more.
If he's a Laker, what I got to deal with him for?
Okay.
All right. Look at what do you name? Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is a good player, but I ain't no fan.
I got you.
Okay, all kind of good players out there I like talk about.
Okay.
But I'm not a fan of them. Naughty, I can give you this one and then I go on. Naughty, that's what I can give you. I was a fan of Naughty. I'm not a fan of Joker's Wild. Wherever Naughty go, I am a your fan. If you leave Joker's Wild, I go on and I get with you. That's the kind. Not fix that for me.
Well, since you put it like that, Killer, carry on smartly.
Okay. Y'all have a blessed one, right?
Thank you, my brother.
Have a good one, Burley.
All right, my brother.
Yeah.
Listen, you know I always love to hear from Skillaboo, man. But
Yeah.
listen, Burley, I'll be honest. I'm just going to take this opportunity right now because I'm fighting for this traffic. Boy, there's any traffic out here.
All right. You want to do the picks now?
No. Be good. I hit you. It's some more time to do your thing. But listen, I'm consistent. My consistency should be applauded. I hated him in Akron coming out with all the hype out of high school.
Yeah.
I hated him in Cleveland for his petulant ways. I hated him for running to Miami, chasing the championship and failing not once, not twice, not three times. Oh, you remember that?
Yeah.
Then I hated him when he petulantly couldn't get Roddy over a barrel in Miami, and Roddy said, we'll go back to Cleveland. And he parked up in the middle of the night
And I was there keeping it real when Kyrie Irving won in that MVP when they came from 3-1 down, because I was all Kyrie. It wasn't him. And then I was also real about him coming to the Lakers and the Lakers being bupkis when he came here because it was a business deal and he was long past his basketball winning.
Yep.
And pretty much here we are, correct?
Yep.
I told you also. So it is what it is. I'm going to be that Laker family member that stands up by the punch bowl and says, you know what? Don't bring this boy in here. Don't let him marry our niece. He is a freak. He's just that nutter. And if you all let it happen when they get divorced, you know what they can say? I told you so. You should never let him in the family.
Well, when your niece bring the fella around, I can let you talk to Jane. Make sure we know what's going on.
Yeah, you got to go. You got to pull that file quick. But yeah, if you want to do the picks, you can now if you want to.
That's fine. We can jump down while I got you.
All right, cool, though. You start them off.
Okay, so let's go right into the Houston Texans at the Kansas City Chiefs tomorrow.
Well, like I alluded earlier, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, quite the combination in the playoffs. All right? Andy Reid, when he's given time to prepare for an opponent, 2 weeks, he's something like 27-4.
Yeah.
But obviously in the playoffs with a week to prepare, his record is still impeccable. I think Kansas City's playing at home. They've had the week to rest. Got the look in his eye when it counts. They got Pacheco back. They got some other pieces out of Kareem Hunt's playing with a chip on his shoulder. He wants to be part of that Kansas City dynasty as well. Because you know how it was early in his career, and then he had the off-the-field issues and ended up in Cleveland. The wide receivers, hey, is where you put me. But they got Hollywood Brown back. That's a little sneaky addition to have playoff time. Juju Schuster-Smith makes himself available at the right moment with Mahomes. They're using Xavier Worthy, and Kelsey's there. So everybody who Mahomes needs is healthy. The offensive line is healthy. And say what you want about the Chiefs' defense, Spagnuolo always has them ready to show up and play, especially at home. So it's a prove-it game. The Texans got to prove they're better than the Chiefs and beat them for me to deal with them moving forward in the playoffs. I don't think they get it done. I think the Chiefs are too strong at home. I think they've been there, done that, got the T-shirt. This is part of a process for them that they've been through, and they've won before. So at this juncture, I got to go with the Chiefs at home, 31-27. It might be a closer game than it was earlier in the year. It's playoff time. The Texans and D'Amico Ryans and the job he's done with that team, especially the defense with the injuries. I just don't think the offense in Houston can keep up with the offense in Kansas City due to the injuries to Tank Dell and to other key components on that offense.
I kind of agree with you to some degree. When you look at what Houston, look at this statistically, the teams are pretty even in terms of yardage, points scored, defense yard given up, points given up by the defense.
But what you got to look at, Pearly, is how these teams came into the playoffs.
No, I understand that, and the mitigating factor is Mahomes. I agree. He does have that look in the eye. I honestly do not think that Kansas City is going to go to the Super Bowl. I just don't think Houston is a team that's going to eliminate them. I think Kansas City will beat them. I don't think the 8 points. I wouldn't take the money line. I wouldn't take the points. I'll take the money line, and I think it'll be a 27-24 Kansas City win. And they're going to score that last touchdown in the fourth quarter to beat them.
All right, go on to the next one.
All right, then we got the Washington Commanders at the Detroit Lions. You know, I picked Detroit to go to the Super Bowl. I actually picked Detroit to win the Super Bowl this year. So obviously, I think they're going to be the Commanders. I'm disappointed in Minnesota. I thought Minnesota should have beat the Commanders. I think Donald lost his opportunity.
Minnesota lost to the Rams.
To the Rams, sorry. I thought the experience in the Rams, my bad. The experience in the Rams would have been more than the experience, a lot more than the experience in a rookie quarterback against a veteran quarterback. I don't think the Commanders are as good as they are as the team that we see. I don't think they could beat Detroit. I think Detroit will stomp them, walk all over them. I think Detroit will beat them 31-17.
Well, I'll tell you why I think Detroit's going to win. They're the best team in the NFC all season. They made a statement at the end with all those injuries against the Minnesota team, and they were playing for something, both teams. So I know that Detroit is probably the best team in the NFC. In addition to that, Dan Quinn, good old Dan Quinn, and you know I know all about Dan Quinn, former defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. What was the undoing of the Dallas Cowboys the last 2 years in the playoffs, Pearly? Couldn't stop the run, right?
Yep.
They got Montgomery back in Detroit. Jamar Gibbs. Listen, you know how I feel about Jamar Gibbs. He won me some fantasy titles. So, Jamar Gibbs and Jamar takes away. And Jamar is going to give a great performance on the weekend. He's going to take a playoff victory away from the Washington Redskins. Quinn's defense can't stop the run. They're going to run the football. Goff is going to be able to do play action to Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown as well as Jameson. So look for them to, like you say, pull away and win. They're averaging almost 40 points a game. They got 2 hot shot coordinators, Bob Johnson and Lance, plenty jobs, as well as Aaron Glenn. And Aaron Glenn's old school. He's a Parcells disciple. He comes from the Parcells tree. What does Parcells like to do to rookie quarterbacks? Make them see ghosts. Give them wrinkles. Give them stuff they haven't seen before. I think Aaron Glenn does that in Detroit. I like the Lions to win this one 31-17.
And I got to apologize. Actually, the Commanders did beat the Buccaneers last week, and I just thought Baker just let me down. Sunday. First game on Sunday is the Rams at the Eagles. Now, a lot of people think the Rams could go to the Super Bowl. I know you don't like the Eagles, but the Eagles...
Pearly, I have to give credit to the Eagles for playing a good game last week. I think it was more Green Bay shooting themselves in the foot with opportunities that they squandered.
Yep.
And Philadelphia getting away with playing a mediocre game. Come playoff time, Sirianni is a different breed of coach. I think he puts too much pressure on himself. I think McVay has been there, done that, got the T-shirt. The defense of the Rams, last 5 weeks, been playing good football. Their front four is really tough. I think they're going to present a problem for Philadelphia running the football. A.J. Brown is banged up, and Stafford and the offense is clicking with the Rams. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are no easy coverage. And you got Kyron Williams running the football as well, and Matthew Stafford's been there. I think the Rams are scrappy enough, and McVay is a good enough coach to get it done. I think the Rams win this game outright. I'm going to take the Rams 27-26 over the Eagles in Philadelphia.
I actually like Philadelphia in this game, and I'll tell you why I like Philadelphia. I think the Rams will have problems stopping Barkley. The Rams, they put up 130 yards. They've given up 130 yards a game. The Eagles have averaged 179 yards a game in rushing.
Yeah, but look
I think that's going to be the difference. I understand what's going on. Look at the last 5 weeks. The Eagles had one mediocre game. That's last week. They're not going to have 2 in a row. I don't see them having 2 mediocre games in a row. I think the Rams beat. It's going to be a close game. I think it'll be something like 20-17 Rams.
All right, and then the final one.
The final game, the Baltimore Ravens at the Buffalo Bills. Well, you know, my team, I picked Baltimore and Detroit in the Super Bowl, and I'm going to hold to that. I think the difference is with Henry and Jackson running, it's going to pose a problem for Buffalo, who really don't do a good job at stopping the run.
That's what I was going to say. Buffalo's horrible against the run.
Yeah. So I think we're going to finally see that the great white hope is not Josh Allen. The media have been pulling so hard for him. This is a battle to prove that Lamar Jackson deserves the MVP, and I think he's going to pick Buffalo to pieces. I like Baltimore, and I'll take Baltimore 31-20.
Well, to the same points you brought up, the Ravens are one of the best rushing teams in the NFL. Buffalo, despite other areas on the defense where they excel at as a unit, they've been weak all year against the run, and they've been gutted at times against the run. I think Baltimore plays smash-mouth football.
Yep.
I think you get a heavy dose of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry running the football. But I think some play action is set up too, and Lamar uses the arm a little bit as well. I think this is going to be a back-and-forth game, as you alluded. Everybody's great white hype. Josh Allen, they're going to make sure it's a tight game, and they're playing in Buffalo. But at the end of the day, I think it's an opportunity for Lamar Jackson to silence all the doubters. There's no way that Allen should be in the MVP conversation over Lamar Jackson when Lamar leads in every major statistical category, except for rushing touchdowns between the two.
Yep.
And we all know why. If Derrick Henry wasn't on the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson would lead that category as well.
Amen. I say amen. And I think, Derrick Henry gets better and better as the game go on. That's why I think it'll be a close game for the first half, pretty close in the first couple minutes of the third quarter, and then that's it. It's gonna.
I like Baltimore pulling away. I like Buffalo to make a furious comeback, but I like the Ravens to win it. In the end, 31-30. It's going to be tight. But Lamar Jackson secures another MVP with this performance. And I think it'll be, an exciting weekend. And two sons go at it, Ravens and Chiefs. in the AFC Championship
That should
game.
be fun. I like it. I'll be there. I want to sit and watch, listen to that
Take
route.
two of them on.
Yes.
So that's who I like this week. And as far as the Dallas Cowboys coaching situation goes, prime time is there's more fire to that smoke. It's heating up. But if that deal does fall through, I think the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys will be Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's been in Dallas before. He was railroaded out by McCarthy. His offenses have been better than McCarthy's, even though McCarthy had some good offenses since Moore's departure. I think Moore has a great opportunity to come back. He's got a little bit of Jason Garrett to him, so I think he'll be yes to Jerry. But at the same time, he's young enough to know there's other things that got to be done in order for the Cowboys to win. So with that being said, I think he makes good hire as far as the defensive coordinator and other young coaches. And I think Dallas may have something there with Kellen Moore. But
No Aaron Glenn? No Aaron Glenn?
Aaron Glenn is another one, but he's got to wait to interview. And there's some strong interest out there for Aaron Glenn in other cities, especially Chicago, I'm hearing.
No, actually, I'm hearing McCarthy's going to end up be the Bears coach.
I'm thinking McCarthy is clickbait to put pressure on other people's agents who they really want.
Okay.
But McCarthy's also good to have because a lot of people say Chicago's a crappy job to take. And at the end of the day, if he could go from the Cowboys to the Bears and keep a paycheck coming in, he'll take that opportunity. But I don't think he's their first choice.
All right, time will tell.
Anyway, my brother.
Everybody, thanks a lot. And we'll talk about the Notre Dame Ohio State game on Monday.
But I like Notre Dame in that one.
Me too.
We'll talk soon. Have a great weekend.
All right, my brother, enjoy it. Caller, you on the air? How you doing? I guess he gone. I guess he didn't hold on. Caller, you can call back, and I do apologize to keep you waiting so long. Your timing was just off and calling at the same time. Naughty called so as to give the picks. But there you have it. That's our picks. We're picking Kansas City, Baltimore, Philadelphia, Detroit. Caller, you on the air.
Hey, yeah. What's up, Pearly?
Hey, what's up? What's up, Mystery?
Everything cool. Yeah, those are my picks, too.
That's your picks?
Who Philadelphia playing again?
They're playing the Rams.
No, I think the Rams can beat them.
Think so?
Yeah. That's the only one I'm out with. I'm in with Kansas City.
Okay.
I'm in with Baltimore.
Uh-huh.
I'm in with Detroit. And I'm with the Rams.
Right.
I don't think Philadelphia can beat the Rams.
Okay. And any special reason why?
They're a tougher team.
All right.
And got a better quarterback.
You think Goff better than Hurts?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
With no tush push?
Hey, I believe he could get it done. So
All right.
I'm going to stick with the Rams until they.
Okay. All right.
Right.
How you feeling what's going on in Miami?
Huh?
How are you feeling about what's been going on in Miami with Tyreek Hill and should he be gone? Should he stay? Should he go?
I mean, if he go, I really wouldn't blame him because he's the winner.
Okay.
If he go, I don't blame him, and with his speed and his talent, the quarterback that we have can't match with the talent and the speed with Tyreek Hill.
But he did it so because he did it last year, led the league in passing yards, led the league in everything last year, and this year it didn't happen.
He still didn't get it done. When you have an all-star wide receiver like Tyreek Hill and still didn't get it done.
But you do know that Tyreek Hill had a lot of drops this year, couldn't get open a lot this year. Tyreek Hill actually had a worse season than Tua had. You know that. You do know that, right?
Listen, at the end of the day, I still can't see how you will blame it. You wouldn't blame it.
I'm not blaming it. No, I understand what you're saying, but I always believe that football is a team sport, and if you don't have it all pulled together, because I remember last year now, if Chris Jones didn't do it for Kansas City, they would have lost.
Tua couldn't get it done without Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
And he couldn't get it done with Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill got it done.
So let me ask you this question. Josh Allen makes it to the playoffs every year and gets sent home. What you say there? And he's supposed to be that much better.
Josh Allen.
I just saying.
Josh Allen, because I believe Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott.
He getting beat too.
I believe Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott and Tua together.
Wow. But he's still losing. He's still losing. He's still getting beat in the playoffs every year. 6 in a row or something like that.
But
8 in a row.
another year. I want him to get beat again. I want him to get beat up on my Dolphins. So I want him to get beat again.
I got you, my brother.
Good show, Pearly. I miss Naughty, man. And where Naughty gone?
Naughty has a comic gig for a corporate, and it's starting a little early, so he got to do at the opening for them, and so he decided to let me tag in for him at WWE
he's
style.
a busy man.
Yeah. Listen, I enjoy it, man. I like talking to you guys. It don't bother me at all.
Yes, that contribution he gave just now, that was good.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
All right.
All right, my brother. You have a safe
weekend.
weekend now, and hopefully we'll talk to you on Monday.
All right. Okay.
All right. Well, guys, I guess that's it. It's been a quick 1 hour. You've got Rich Eisen going to talk a little bit about is it Rich or Colin? Who we got? Colin? Yeah, Colin's going to talk about how the Dallas move and McCarthy and all that. And I kind of picked that in honor of Naughty today, all right? Thank you so many for the calls. Thank you so much for the texts. Thank you for the support. Have a great, safe weekend. Get your football in. Enjoy your football this weekend. And watch Sasaki will be a Dodger. This has been Pearly for Naughty, for all our callers. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Take care.
Reliable and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Here's a price list of some of the roofing material we carry at Pinda Enterprises. 5/8 pressure-treated roofing ply starting at $36.68. Gray Select Water Shield, $134.20 a roll. Felt, 15 pounds, $16.50. 30 pound, $19.80. Owens, Corning Duration Shingles, and Certain Teed Landmark Shingles, $56.56 a bundle. Gallon of roof cement, $33.47. All sizes treated dimensional lumber. And of course, we have all nails and all screws. We have 5/8 sheetrock, $22.18. All prices include VAT.
NRG is nutrition. Check out our world-famous smoothies, signature quinoa dishes. We have the best salads and breakfast fit for a king and his queen. Open for breakfast, lunch, and now dinner. Each order is made with love and the highest quality ingredients and is nutritionally balanced. Visit any of our 3 locations. Old Fort Bay, open until 7:30 p.m. West Bay Street and Gladstone Road in the Monrose Complex, open until 4 p.m. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at NRG Bahamas. NRG, nutrition ready to go.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty, hosted by Earl the Pearl. On Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Reporter, Monday Morning Quarterback is joining us. Let's get right to it. So there's a story out there that the Cowboys were caught a little off guard with a Mike McCarthy departure. And I've theorized this a couple days ago, Albert, that I think once he got Don Yee as an agent and Mike Vrabel went to the Patriots, that McCarthy viewed himself, as did Don Yee, as the best candidate, and I think he may be. And I think they had a little leverage. And he looked at Dak's contract, he looked at the running back room and went, he went and asked. Yeah. He went and asked for 5 years guaranteed. And Jerry's like, whoa. Jerry from Landman said, no, I'm a Wildcatter. I'm not giving you that. And then I think Mike McCarthy knew that with Dak's contract and that running back room and whiffing on the last 2 first-round picks a little bit, Albert, Dallas may be a tough place to win. Is that possible?
Yeah, I hear you on that. I think this is actually a little bit more deep-seated, and I do wonder if Jerry Jones has been whistling by the graveyard on this for a while. I go back to the summer, and I got the sense back then that Mike was really kind of, I'd say not happy with the fact that he had to go through the situation that he was being put through, where It's very unusual to be in a contract year as a head coach. But not only that, like all of his assistant coaches were also in contract years. So everyone in the building effectively, or at least on his side of the building, is, going through the season with this hanging over their heads. And that was certainly reflected in the way the days after the season were handled. There was no negotiation. It never really got to that point. And, I think what Mike McCarthy was looking at was like, how do I want to live out the rest of my days as a coach? And, I don't think he was interested in going back into a situation after he just went through that year where he was going to be year to year again. So if they were going to do a 2 or a 3 year deal, I don't think that was interesting. I don't think that was of interest to Mike. I think he wanted to be in a place where, he would be able to build going forward. So, I think the opportunity out there in Chicago, the opportunity out there in New Orleans, where he knows Mickey Loomis, by the way, like those two worked together for 5 years. When McCarthy was Jim Haslett's offensive coordinator from 2000 to 2004, I think you look at the landscape a little bit and you say to yourself, like, there's a better opportunity to build somewhere else. Like, why don't I do that? I think part of it too, Colin, is just maybe the Cowboys having a little bit of an inflated view of themselves and their job. It's, well, who wouldn't want to coach America's team? Yeah. Well, if you're not willing to make the long-term commitment, Mike McCarthy wouldn't want to do.
Yeah, the J-Mac and Ryan kind of feel that maybe they got a little over their skis. And I've said this before, it's a bad running back room. They have one weapon. I would move off Micah, get another first-round pick in a weak draft. I think you could get that and go get like 2. Don't think in a world of Philly and Detroit and the Rams and Green Bay and Washington. I don't think they have enough firepower, and we don't know what Dak's going to look like off a second injury. Now, I'm going to throw something.
The Micah thing's really interesting. Just really quick, the Micah thing is definitely worth monitoring. He's going to be looking for, I think he's going to be looking for $40 million a year. So how they handle that, I think, is going to be one of the key subplots of their offseason, no matter who's the coach.
That would be a little bit of a gut punch. You think they're top heavy now? Okay, I'm going to throw this at you. Ohio State's got 14 5-star guys. Notre Dame's got 1. That's fewer than Kentucky football. I said this when you know this well. Sean McVay, 30 years old, goes and interviews in L.A. and Stan Kroenke's like, "We're not letting him out of the building. This kid is magic," and he did. He took 4-12 to 11 wins, 32nd ranked offense to number 1. Goff was 0-7. Goff all of a sudden was a playoff quarterback. If Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame win or put on a classic 24-23. Ohio State clearly has a huge advantage in talent and skill. What about the Bears going, okay, McCarthy, Ben Johnson, leader in the clubhouse, are we looking at in Marcus Freeman? They should not be in this game. Penn State's got more good players. Texas does. Georgia does. Oregon does. Does Freeman have a shot in Chicago?
I know they've kicked it around. Would they actually do it? I don't think so. I'm not sure that they feel like that's what they need right now. And I think mainly because they really would be looking for somebody who, if it's not an offensive coach, it's somebody with a coherent plan for the quarterback, somebody who's going to bring in somebody experienced to work with the quarterback, and somebody who's going to have a plan beyond just, like if you're going to lose your offensive coordinator, say, after 2 or 3 years because Caleb really kills it, okay, like how deep's your well of NFL context where you'll be able to replace him? That's what I'm saying. So, I think the Bears started with the leader of men thing, which Marcus Freeman 100% fits. But as they went through the last 5-6 weeks of the season with Thomas Brown as the interim coach, and they watched how Caleb's play and development suffered over the last month of the season because, they had a head coach who was also the offensive coordinator, stretched a little thin. I think they kind of came to the realization, okay, like we still want a leader of men. We still want somebody who can coach all 53 and who can affect all 53 and who can change the culture in our building. But we also need to have a really solid plan for the quarterback as a part of that. So, in a perfect world, they killed 2 birds with 1 stone and they wind up getting somebody who is that guy who can be both. I look at Marcus Freeman as somebody who really intrigued them at the beginning. But maybe as they've gone through this process, you look at it and you need a very defined plan for the quarterback. And I don't know, in fairness to Marcus Freeman, after the experience that he's had, that he'd be able to do that at the NFL level yet. I think he's a bright coaching prospect over the next few years. I just don't know that Chicago's a spot.
Yeah. Raiders are funny. it does appear they don't have a GM and a coach or a staff that Brady's got influence. How much Tom has, I don't know, but he's got some, which would lead me to believe he would like an offensive guy. That would be my guess. My guess, I don't know Tom well enough to have a big, strong opinion, but Ben Johnson would probably, my guess, be now that Vrabel's off the board, would be his number one choice. That's how I think Brady would see the world, because he and Josh McDaniels were so close, right?
Mm-hmm.
You buy that?
I agree. And they had to convince him to come in. I think I said this to you back in November, December, where Ben was going to approach this coaching cycle differently than he has the last couple, where he wasn't going to take any interview where he didn't think, like, I eventually would accept that job. And so, like, there were teams involved where, like he said, like his camp would say to the team, like, hey, look, like, don't even put in a request. We don't want to have to turn you down. We don't want to embarrass you. And the Raiders initially were one of those teams. And over time, the Raiders, wound up deciding, okay, like, we're going to put a request in. They put a request in. Ben's camp asks why. Tom Brady makes a phone call. And, all of a sudden, I think, Ben Johnson is looking at that Raider job differently. Now, why? Well, one of the messages that's kind of come across is that Tom Brady's not going to put his name on something that's embarrassing or a clown show. And so, like, that is one thing that you say, okay, like, Tom Brady's going to have some level of influence here. There's also Tom Brady's kind of the front man for some of the other partners. Egan Durbin is the CEO of Silver Lake. He bought 7.5% of the team. That was approved back in December. Tom Wagner is Tom Brady's partner. There are going to be more resources there. And so that's part of it as well. Now, is Brady going to be there day to day? No. He lives in Florida. His kids are there. He's obviously got other commitments, but certainly he's going to have an influence. And I think that the message that's sort of been imparted on Ben and all the other candidates is this is a different version of the Raiders that you're going to be walking into, and you don't have to worry about some of the things that past Raider coaches and GMs have had to worry about, which I think is why Ben is interested in this job and why Ben did a 180 on this job. And I think they're definitely in play right there with the Jaguars and the Bears. I don't know that Ben's made any decision on which one he likes more than the next. Hasn't met with any of these people in person yet, obviously. But the Raiders have put something intriguing in front of him and a lot of other people that looks a lot different than what you would have thought of the Raiders over the last 15 or 20 years.
Well, I could ask you one or two questions, but I'm not going to ask you about the Steelers quarterback because they don't know what they're doing, and I think they want to be patient. That's their history. So I'm going to ask you about the Jets. They're selling on the market. They're selling. We gave Saleh 5 years, Joe Douglas 6 years, or whatever it is. We are patient. We're not the Raiders. We're not the Bears. Whatever.
Yeah.
I do think there's the Aaron Rodgers issue, but I don't think that's as big an issue because Aaron's arguably in his last year and has clearly lost the power that he had. In fact, I think Aaron's camp has come out and said, if it's not the right coach and GM, I'm not staying. Will anybody hire a coach that – I don't know why I think it's going to be the Saints or the Jets this weekend. Will anybody make a move this weekend because of the playoff games? The league would prefer you wait until next week. And your thoughts on are the Jets going to make a move quickly?
To be on watch for the Titans to name a GM would probably be the next shoe to drop. As far as coaches go, I think teams are going to wait to do the in-person stuff next week, which you can start to do the in-person stuff on Monday, I believe it is, as soon as the divisional round is over. Look, I think what the Jets have sort of offered guys is, look, whoever we pick, whether it's a GM or a coach, we're going to give you the opportunity to build this in your own image. So they've left it open. They haven't said we're hiring one before the other, and they're going to decide, okay, here's the person we want as the leader of our organization. Then that person is going to help pick his partner, and then those two are going to go to work. And so, for some of the guys in the running, I think Aaron Glenn's got a really good shot at that job, and I think Aaron Glenn's going to be a head coach somewhere. So, Aaron Glenn, if he comes in, who does he bring with him? Is it somebody like a Ray Agnew from Detroit, like a Lance Newmark from Washington, who was in Detroit with him, one of the guys in New Orleans? I think that's certainly a possibility. Do they bring in somebody who's more experienced, like an Arthur Smith? Who would Arthur Smith bring with him as a GM? Or do they go the GM route? If Tennessee doesn't hire Mike Borgonzi from Kansas City, does Mike Borgonzi come in as the general manager? Does Matt Nagy come with him as the coach? I think, I think whatever they do, it's going to be based on one person. They'll bring in one person, whether it's a coach or GM, and then build around that person. And I think that that's the appeal of the job. You look at it, take the quarterback out of it. We know Aaron's on 17 or 18 right now when it comes to his career, right? Not just in the back nine. So you look at it and you say, okay, Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, Quincy Williams, Olu Fashanu, Breece Hall. Like, they've got the core of a pretty good team. Jermaine Johnson, a pretty good young team there, if you can get some of the key positions filled out. So they do have something to sell there. Now, what you have to wrap your head around is ownership. But, I do think next week at some point they will pick either a head coach or general manager and build out from there. It wouldn't surprise me if that guy was Aaron Glenn.
Albert Breer, as always, Monday Morning Quarterback. Good luck to you and the Buckeyes, my friend. I see that helmet back there.